Red kite. Well, good morning. Welcome back to the DanGoesOutdoors YouTube channel. If you're new around here, ever think about subscribing. I try to put out videos every Sunday morning, so that's what you get in return. Yeah, on that note, apologies that there wasn't a video last Sunday morning. Last week was terrible. It was like, what, minus temperatures all week. I think when I did go out, I went out for about 4 hours and it was like -5. So yeah, surprisingly didn't catch. I tried a bit of pike fishing, bit of lure fishing, but nothing happened at all. So yeah, I just figured I'm not even gonna waste my time editing that. There's no value to it at all. But today I'm out doing something a bit different. Hopefully the title of the video shows that I'm out perch fishing, and I've chosen to come to a local commercial, and I say local because we are still in the 3rd lockdown, because I don't know when people will be watching this video. I might be watching it in the future. So yeah, it's basically just the other side of town, so it's perfect for me. And I've been coming here throughout the winter with my mate Alex, who you've seen in a couple of videos. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've not been doing very well. I've caught 1 carp. It was a nice carp though. It was a nice double figure 10-pound carp, and he's done really well. I think he's had about 7 fish in a time that we've been here together, which is amazing for him. So yeah, begrudgingly well done to him. But whilst we were walking around the lake last time, I saw a dead fish in the margins, and I kind of like gave it a poke with my landing net. And it was a big perch, like not massive, but like a 2-pound dead perch. And well, that fish ain't going to be on its own, you know, even if there's just a few like 1-pounders around. That's great. So I've come down with some worms, some prawns, some maggots. I've already got a sleeper rod down that edge there. Unfortunately, swim selection was kind of made up for me because it has been so cold that the rest of the lake's frozen over. This is the only peg on this lake that's fishable. So that sort of stands to reason that this must be a warmer area, which in winter is what it's all about. There is a little pond above and a stream running out of it into this one, and that one's not frozen, so it must be a little bit warmer up there, and that's hopefully trickling down into this lake. That's what I'm hoping anyway. If not, we'll go on that little lake. But anyway, I've got a sleeper rod out. I'll get a float rod going as well, and I'll show you the tactics in more detail later. But I've just got my fingers crossed that there are some big perch in here, because I don't know, I've not fished like this here before. But you know, when you're fishing with maggots and worms and things, hopefully you'll get some action. Let's see, I'll get that float rod set up. So as with all float rigs, took a little while to set up and plumb up, but I've got on what is one of my little mini slider rigs. I'll show you in a bit more detail later on, but for now I'm going to start off with big baits, straight in with the prawns and worms. Something I learned a long time ago is that if you want to catch big fish, just fish for big fish. I could put the maggots on a size 18 and plug away, probably catch some silverfish and just hope that a big perch comes along. But you know, if that big fish enters a swim, I want it to take my bait first. I don't want it to come in with a load of little fish and then you end up catching, you know, a small perch and spooking it away. So we'll go straight in with a decent sized prawn, spray some maggots around it, and yeah, just hope these big fish are in here, because like I say, I don't know. I've seen one, but it was dead. So yeah, we'll get this out there and just hope that it happens today. So I'm at the point now where I'm about an hour and a half in and nothing's happened, and I'm already experiencing a couple of little problems that I didn't really anticipate. First of all, I've got the wind coming right at me. I did know that, but I didn't realise it'd be this cold. It's a southerly wind. It's supposed to get up to, well, 10-11 degrees today, so I thought it wouldn't be as bad as this, but it's a bit stronger and a bit colder than I thought. And that can't be good to be in that wind. Well, you know, textbooks would say it's not good sitting into a cold wind in winter. Also, that wind keeps breaking off bits of ice and drifting them this way, and it's really interfering with my float fishing. What I am doing though is, if it does get caught, I'm letting it drag a bit, because let's face it, perch are predators. So you know, prawn or a worm getting dragged through the swim can't be a bad thing really. But then it just means I'm having to recast, and in this wind it's taken a couple of goes and it's making my catapulting maggots quite difficult. So the way I see it, I've got basically 3 options, which is stay here, hope it gets better because the wind is supposed to die down in the afternoon, and when the temperature does go up to like about 10-11 degrees, it might be quite good here. It's a little bit of a sun trap. Also, I could go on that top pond there. It's much smaller. I've just had a little, when I wound in, I had a little prod around with a landing net just to test some depths, and there was one spot that's a little bit deeper, so I may go up there if this proves really bad. And then my third option is, if the ice does melt quite a bit, the spots I really want to try a bit further up the other end where there's a lot more cover for much more sort of perch looking swims. And I'm sat here now and I can't help thinking that maybe the fish are up there even under the ice. They could be up that end where there's a fair bit more cover and that. But this swim, you know, it's got these snags and these reeds and things, so I'm happy enough sat here. I just want to see a little bit of action, and if that doesn't happen in the next sort of hour or so, may end up moving on to that top pond, I think. But you know, we'll keep going. Okay, well that's the final nail in the coffin for this spot. As you can see, it's got really windy here, and well, that's tangled anyway. It's not just that, I've been fishing maggots for the past sort of 30-40 minutes and haven't had a nibble. And on a commercial, if you've got some fish in front of you and you're fishing 3 maggots, you should get some sort of bite, even if it's just from a little perch or roach or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna go on that top lake there where it looks, well, it's not frozen, it seems to be getting a lot more sun, doesn't seem to be as much wind on it, and we'll give that a go instead. I'm over. So here's the new small pond. Yeah, I have moved away from where I saw that big dead perch, but it kind of seems silly to base my whole session around one dead fish anyway. So I'm going to put my sleeper rod out first. It's just a running ledger, small weight there, with a big eye on the swivel just so it doesn't have much resistance. Quick change bead, about an 18-inch hook length, big size 6 and a lobworm on there. And when I came down, sorry, I'm moving around a bit, trying not to fall over. When I came down earlier and had a little prod around the net swim along, it was quite a bit deeper in front of it. So rather than cast, I'm just going to walk along there, drop this in, break up the old lobworm I had on, chuck that over top, a couple handfuls of maggots, just perfect little perch trap, I think. Yeah, you guessed it, I am now in my third swim of the day. It's not even 1 o'clock yet. The area I wanted to fish down here, which is, you can see it's got a lot more cover close in, which is exactly what I looked for perch, has now thawed out enough that I can fish here. I gave it a couple hours on that pond up top there and absolutely nothing happened. There's even a match angler fishing opposite me and he got a couple of little bits of silver. But this looks more promising, it's exactly where I want it to be all day. So yeah, got my sleeper rod out, get the float rod going, and just hope that the perch are down here. Well, I'm doing it again. I'm gonna have another move. I keep reminding myself that I'm fishing for perch. There are fish that, if they're there, even in small numbers, they should make themselves known. So once I've given a spot like 2 hours, I'm pretty sure I should move on. So I'm gonna go almost back to where I started, just kind of a bit further round. There's some nice margins there. It's also where I found that dead perch, so it kind of makes sense to give it a go at least. Well, it would appear I've made a pretty good decision. I've not got the rod in yet, but opposite me, over by the island there, the reeds are knocking quite a lot. Thinking of putting a carp rod out instead of putting my float rod out. Anyway, I'm going to walk a lobworm down the edge there. Man, those reeds are moving. Do I put it over there? They're carp though. Right, anyway, I'll put a lobworm up that edge. Handful of maggots, usual stuff. And then think about what I'm going to do about that. I do have a carp rod with me. Right, anyway, let's get this rod out. So despite seeing that carp knocking in the reeds opposite, I have decided to just stick to my guns, go for the floating prawn. It's what I'm here for, and I'm really confident now. You know, we saw that fish, a couple of small fish topping in the area which I haven't seen anywhere else, and I've actually missed a bite on the float. I did have just a few maggots on, I just sort of chucked it out while I was messing about on my chair and that, and yeah, the float went under. So I think there are fish in the area. Stick a prawn down this edge, some maggots over top. Got that worm by that reed bed. It does feel nice here. It feels like something could happen. We're in in theory, the best time of day for it now for perch. This last hour and a half could be really crucial, and I'm not giving in yet. Nibble on the float, come on. Something unbelievable. Are you recording? Thank God you are. What have we got? I think this could be a carp. Oh my God. What is happening? On the prawn down the edge. I can't see this being a perch though. Well, this must be a carp. It's good to get a bend though. Keeps pinging off its dorsal fin. Man, this is amazing. Well, I'm starting to see me float again. Here's a carp, nice mirror. size 10 barbless hook just fell out. It was just in the roof of the mouth, and because it's late in the day and it's proper good perch time, I'm going to put a prawn on and just get it back out there straight away while that fish is in the net. Can't waste this time. There we have it. Just down there. Well, even though we're after perch, I'll gladly take this carp today. And what's funny is about, I think it's 3 weeks ago now, I was here with Alex, really struggling, didn't catch a single carp when I was using 2 carp rods and trying really hard. But when I try and fish for perch, look at that. Nice colours on it, and actually in pretty good condition for a commercial carp. Wonderful guy. Fought really hard. It's like a block of ice as well. Man, we haven't blanked, put up a good fight, and it's a lovely fish. We will take that. The rod's back out now. Keep looking over my shoulder, checking my float's still there. Right, let's put this one back. Just going to put it back in the next swim so I don't disturb my margins. It's quite a nice fish, that. Say £6, something like that. Might take a while when you catch them on light tackle. Really does take it out of them, the long fight. What do you think, mate? Yeah, off you go. The red kite just roosted in the tree behind you there. You might be able to hear it screaming every now and again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say goodbye now, because it's getting dark. It'd be too dark to film a nice outro. But I'm going to carry on fishing. I've probably got another 15 minutes. I'm also coming back this weekend. Me and Alex are going to do one of our day sessions. And since I've bought the worms and the prawns, you know, they're not cheap, even when you buy the cheapest frozen prawns. That's him. Yeah, they're not cheap. So I'm going to perch fish again that day, at least on 1 rod. So if anything happens then, I'll add it in on the end and hopefully get it sorted for Sunday morning. I'll have to edit all this video and just stick whatever happens on. But yeah, I'm so glad I caught that carp, because at least we didn't blank, and it's quite a nice fish, you know, and it gave us a good fight and everything. And today was an exploratory session, a kind of live by the sword, die by the sword type thing, where I was just going to commit to perch and that's it, and just see what happens. It might seem weird to base a whole session off of just seeing one dead fish, but it was such a big fish that I thought I've got to go back and try. But I think I found my answer, that it's maybe not worth committing to as a perch water, but it's worth knowing that, you know, there are those big fish in commercials, and you'll never catch them unless you get out there and try. So the tactics I've shown today, that sliding float rig with a prawns or a worm, lob worm down the edge, it's all classic perch tactics, and just ping a few maggots over top, get the small fish feeding, and if the perch are there, you'll catch them. I just think that perhaps there isn't a population here that I hoped there would be. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all well. It's looking like there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, if you know what I mean, so let's keep our fingers crossed for that. I'll see you all next time, and look after yourselves. Put it on here. What is this? Be a pair, go on. This is a bit more jagged. Decent perch, come on. Well, talk about last minute. There it is, decent perch. I want to put a weight on it just so I've got an idea of what they're like in here. This one's quite fat as well, so it could go a pound. Nice pound perch would be lovely. Come on, Sainsbury's. Make life taste better, is that them? £1.06. £1.06. Fantastic. Keep looking at my float. Well, it's nice to get what you came for. That's brilliant. £1.06. I knew when I saw that dead one there must be more. I don't think there's loads in here. If there were loads I would have caught loads. But there's a few. You're amazing. Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much. Show you that fin again. Oh man, seriously gonna have to crank the brightness up in the edit. Always worth hanging on that last little bit. Oh. Right, try and get a picture of that. Yes. Well, back it goes. Probably gonna have to crank the brightness up in the edit. But that's our decent perch. For all intents and purposes, £1.5. Oh, come on, mate. Jeez, get out of the net. There it's... Well, oh my god, that's good clip. Fuck yes! There you go, £1.8 this time, £1.5. Beauty. The guy opposite's just caught a nice carp as well, so ooh, could be happening.
Not the guy we want, as in me.
There you go.
Oh, that is an absolute monster. That's enormous. Bloody hell, for a perch. What's the size of a dinner plate?
2.5. 2.9. 2.9. £2.9. He's been hit by a cormorant or something. There we go. £2.9. I knew they were in here. We saw that dead one. Came back with perch gear. Brilliant. It's a proper one. Nice one. That's enormous.
Ready?
Yeah, man. Nice. That hook is barely in. Jesus. Hello. Here we go. Bit dark now. And another one. What we saying? Could be another two. £2.1. Outstanding. Another two. £2.1. Two £2-pounders. Right. This is much younger than that other fish.
Is it like a tree? You look inside and then got the...
Oh, no.